It's a space that everybody can come, you can dance, you can feel the love, you can hear the drums just like you would hear a heartbeat, and it brings community together in such a beautiful cultural way.
So my grandmother started teaching me about, like, the people wanted to dress me up to wear dresses, and I always took it off. I didn't want to wear a dress. So I was running around with my big bloomers, pink bloomers and blue bloomers. I felt really comfortable in that. So, and then my grandmother told everybody, just let her be. She's not going to be like the way you want her to be. She's a two-spirit child. That's what's happening here, she said. And we have to raise her that way and let her accept things the way it is, because she's going to have a hard life if we don't let her be who she is. That's how she said it. So in our community, there was a few people that was like me, that was two-spirit. So she told me, those two people over there, they're a couple. She said, they're your people. And then she said, those other women that live down the track, they're your people. Those are who you will be with when you grow up. And you have to be strong and stand up for yourself. She said, and I'm teaching you everything I know so you can lead the two-spirit people if you want, or help them, or they'll help you. You'll just have to let them know who you are, she said. And that's what I did.
So being a two-spirited Indigenous individual means that you carry not just a feminine or a masculine spirit, but you have both of those within yourselves. So two-spirited individuals coming out to showcase their gifts. You traditionally may have a man sitting at the big drum or a woman being a water carrier. This opportunity and being a two-spirited individual allows you to take up either role for the day. And that's the beautiful part about having the two spirits, is that you can authentically identify exactly how you are and share those gifts with the rest of the community who may not know what that means.
You know, another thing about this event is seeing the young people walking in. Look at that. People coming in to check things out. They're dancing, they're having fun. Even the young ones, really young ones, they don't know, some of those babies don't know what's going on, but they love dancing. And they love the people sharing, talking to each other, laughing together. And the young two-spirit people that are growing up feel welcome now. You know, that's the way it should have been. I came out in 1988 and I got beat up a couple of times, but I went away after for a while. For 1 year I was gone. I came back home and nobody bothered me after that.
So we have people here from all over the nation. So Thunder Bay, we've got people that traveled in from Muskrat Dam. We have people that came in from Quebec. Some people, it's their very first time in Thunder Bay and they saw the Pow Wow, so they decided to stop in. So I feel like there's probably a big, vast variety of people from all over the nation.
Hi, so my mother is from the Lake Helen Reserve. And so she left and married my dad, who was French, from when she was 16 in the 60s. And so I moved to Thunder Bay because I had won a scholarship for Reach for the Top. I was third in Ontario when I was 17 years old. So I basically have been living in Thunder Bay for 37 years or something. So seeing the resurgence of two-spirit pride over the last few decades has been quite remarkable. I remember being part of the student native group at LU in the 80s, and how we were still forming and trying to educate on two spirits to our communities and try to explain that it was colonial teachings that erased us. Oh my God, I've always had a feminine and masculine internal dialogue. And so the concept was inherently me, and I no longer thought I was, ill or mentally ill. I realized it was just, spiritually who I was. And so that started my own journey in understanding what two spirits really means. And so seeing this in my home community finally, after all these years, it just makes my heart, sing. So why I personally love powwows, why I think people like powwows, I think there's an allyship because everyone is welcome. But for me, and one of my friends told me, Tony McGuire, he said, if you feel the drums in your blood, you feel them.
I was such a little girl when I first started coming. Like, I don't really exactly remember when I started coming, but I just know I started when I was very, very little. So, I made this dress once again, and I added the gold jingles because I love gold instead of silver. I also added these rainbow ribbons. There's a bunch of different meanings for the rainbow, but today I'm honoring the 2Spirit with my rainbow. But again, I have multiple meanings for my dress. That's just kind of one of them. And yeah, it's made with 2 different material. This is a kind of more of like an Indigenous fabric, and then it's just on the basic blue background. This was my first ever attempt at making a jingle dress, so it took me quite a while. I'd say about 2 months. So the jingle dress, what I've been told, is the healing dress. The dress really originated from Whitefish Bay, and it was when a lady named Maggie White, she became sick. So I believe it was her grandfather that had a dream of the jingle dress. So he made the dress for her, and yeah, he put it on her and she wore it. And you know, at first she was a little slow, but then eventually by the end of it she was dancing and she was healing.
I think people like Pow Wow because if people are looking for medicine, this is a good place to come. But also if you're just looking for a fun time to dance and come out and dance and just enjoy it, that's also a good place. It's a good place for everybody. And I'm here with my daughter, Melody Darling. I like Pow Wows because I grew up in the Pow Wow Trail when I was small like her. And then once I had a baby, I knew my baby needs to get into Pow Wow Trail, so I figured it out to make sure she could get here.
I think people like Pow Wow so much so they can express themselves and to dance and to laugh. And the food they serve is good, and the people they meet are really good to them. And they're like, I feel the welcomeness now than I ever did before. So imagine these young people feeling that way, just to be themselves and not to feel ashamed or anything.
I think you definitely have to be teachable, and you got to have an open mind, because every community is going to be different that you attend, and they have different teachings and protocols. But it's very good to have that gift of humor as well. But you also got to be careful with that humor because you don't want to offend anybody. So it's that being able to understand that gift of humor and using it in a good way that makes everyone laugh. And because that's one of our biggest medicines, is that humor. I think the most fun part about being an MC is you get to sit back and you get to watch everything unfold all around you. I think seeing the young people come out and dance, and watching the way the drum makes people move, the way the drum makes people dance, I think that's one of the most exciting things, because people, I don't even think they understand what they're doing when the drum is making them move, but it's such an amazing thing to see.
So what you're seeing on my head is something that's repurposed, recycled. This is a construction hat I bought for $3 at the Salvation Army. And so I upcycle, and I was gifted all these Swarovski crystals by a friend whose mother had passed. And that's the thing, the materiality of these reclaimed items and then making something beautiful out of is at the core of my design theory. I spoke on sustainability at Ryerson, well, I guess it's Toronto Metropolitan University, just last week, and because I repurpose and I upcycle vintage clothing, and as a poor disabled punk, I was frequently going to the secondhand stores and repurposing and making something beautiful out of something broken and discarded and no longer, I'm breathing a second life into it. Well, when the sun is out, I become a disco ball. And I think it's the smiles. And so when you can't help but smile when you see me walk around in this hat. You know, it's just wonderful to see the community gather and seeing people fly in from all over the country. There are so many fascinating people that have shown up in our little city. And so it's just wonderful to see. Thank you for talking to me. She Miigwech.
I think people love to Pow Wow because I think it just brings us together. I love powwowing because I just love to see my family. I love to see people dance, especially the youth. I love to see the youth dance. just have fun, you know. Even if you don't have a regalia, I encourage everybody to dance. Like, it's a very fun experience. So, yeah.
That's one of the good things I love about my life is helping the people, the young generation, and telling them not to be afraid of who they are, what's happening in their community, just to let it be and be strong, just like what my grandmother told me. And that's what I pass on.